Welcome to ES Planetary News for May 2017. Our theme this month, Inverted Systems. Dear Ascending Family, inverted systems feed upon human co-creative consciousness by purposely tricking people out of their personal intent and consent. With the current acceleration of the electronic era, the exploitation to manipulate and extract energy from humanity is at an all-time high. This month we look at inverted systems and how to identify them in order not to feed them or co-create with them. Simply put, where we place our attention directs our consciousness energy, while where we place our intention is what transforms that energy. To increase the frequency and quality of consciousness energy and intention, the single most important thing we must do is remove the ego personality and outer forces from exerting their control over our personal consciousness, energy, or intention. On a positive note, the available raw materials are shifting in the bifurcation, and this allows for improvements in the quality of manifesting in the future when aligned to cosmic sovereign law. The conflict for territory and control over human beings is escalating in a quiet war using silent artificial intelligence mind control weapons during the electrical peak cycle. Empaths can feel this silent war raging, while many of the non-empaths cannot. This is the pinnacle wave of electrical force field transmission in the annual ecliptic cycle, which adds to the intensity and razor sharpness of transmissions of artificial electrical fields in the environment. As such, this time is the annual period in which some people will experience Kundalini activation, spiritual awakening, or expanding consciousness as they are exposed to the increased electrical activity on the planet. Conversely, others that are unknowingly exposed to the massive increase of targeted AI broadcasts in certain demographics are undergoing pressurized reversals, wallowing deeper in fear, pain, suffering, and numbness. When the external signals are massively intensified, it produces the effect of amplified noise through crashing sound waves. The body may feel accosted by the incessant static noise that cannot actually be heard, but is sensed and felt. Artificial intelligence or AI broadcasts can feel razor sharp and generally make people feel anxious, irritated, and frazzled. For most people, it is the sensation of being harassed with an inability to identify exactly what is harassing you. With so much booming electronic harassment drowning out the subtleties, this can diminish the ability to feel the higher consciousness that is present on the earth now. When we can identify and sense this negative static noise being transmitted through artificial intelligence broadcasts in the environment, we can find ways to maintain control over our body and life force while neutralizing its harmful effects. Thus, in these heightened times of dark aggression, that define the war over human consciousness, it is important to better comprehend the anti-life reversals that are constructed in the inverted systems of energy built by the controllers. On planet Earth, we have been existing in a fallen, closed-loop system, or bi-wave architecture that operates in energetic reversals and results in the manufacturing and growth of inverted systems. Inverted systems of energy are reversal networks, and they impact every single facet of human consciousness and earthly life. Inverted systems could be better understood as the intended construction of the upside-down world, where everything that appears one way in the physical world may actually be the polar opposite of how it appears. The negative alien agenda and the imposter spirit can more easily hide behind inverted systems and seeks to generate them everywhere in order to infiltrate and control the direction of all collective consciousness energy within the planet. The negative alien agenda and controllers base their secret societies and organizational schematics on inverted systems throughout human civilization to align with these ley line reversal networks. This is evidenced through the nefarious design and propagation of the main controller pillars of society, which are inverted systems. These are used explicitly to propagate worldwide reversal networks and are therefore used to divert and collect the consciousness energy of the masses. Reversal networks. Reversal networks are alien machinery that use artificial intelligence programming to simulate, replicate, and imitate the organic forces of creation for the express purposes of collecting, siphoning, and redirecting the consciousness energy of humanity. The artificial intelligence architecture is synthesized into the multiple layers of the planetary field in order to collect energy, harvest it, and send it to off-planet sources. Or the collected life force energy is directed to their preferred power elite or cabal groups on planet Earth that are carrying out their control agenda on the surface. So the aggregate of the collective consciousness energies collected by inverted systems are basically given with preference to humans or non-humans that serve the negative alien agenda control infrastructure and the human enslavement agenda. Once the reversal networks were operating in the planetary grid network, they needed humans to feed their consciousness energy into them. And so the infrastructure for building out inverted systems throughout global society was set up for that purpose. This was accomplished through the negative alien invasion, in which they captured the organic creation code in order to operate artificial intelligence programs. These programs project an assortment of reversal networks using the hijacked code from the original universal creator. The captured code running the many negative alien agenda machines and frequency fences on the planet are artificial intelligence systems that were downloaded into the planetary brain to project reversal holograms, and false timelines. False timelines keep repeating. In order to trap collective consciousness into playing out the same AI mind programs and realities over and over again. This method was used to trap souls on the astral plane through forced recycling into the lowest density of the earth plane. Over the previous evolution cycles, this AI-generated timeline was repeated and replicated onto multiple dimensional planes of the earth, including in the parallel systems. This impacts many stations of identity that exist on higher planes that are also undergoing the shocking revelation that what they believed was organic creation is actually the negative alien agendas, artificial intelligence, brain simulating realities for energy harvesting. The creation code was imitated to insert mass mind control broadcasts that program the functions of the counterfeit blueprint schematics into the earth that are originally sourced from the ancient builder races, also known as the founder guardian races. Essentially, this means the reality programs on Earth are programmed by artificial intelligence, or AI, to operate in reversal to the stolen creation code that belongs to the universal founders. These anti-life reversals were programmed into advanced technology AI that were used to build the many inverted systems from which these black hole entities could easily siphon and steal the consciousness energy of Earth and humanity. Reversals and inversion produce loosh. Reversal networks are designed to invert systems of energy within any structure for the purpose of redistribution in order to siphon energy. As a result of the worldwide system inversion, these reversals impact everything that we see, every structure that we interact with on the material plane. Much of what we can observe in the physical world can appear as the opposite of what it really is. Energy does not lie, so we must go back to the core purpose or intention and its energetic signature. We refer to people, things, and structures that appear to be the opposite of what they really are as imposters. Reversal networks are collecting life force from the collective fields of all Earth inhabitants and producing more subtle black forces and miasma. The much sought-after spiritual energy contained in these fields is called energetic loosh by the cabals. In this context, loosh is referred to as the emotional energy radiated by animals and humans when feeling threatened, harmed, or being killed, that results in the traumatizing pain and suffering that is experienced and recorded in the body, mind, and soul. For centuries, the negative aliens have developed and exploited multi-dimensional occult practices through reversal creation code. This has been given to secret societies and institutions for the purpose of mind control and social engineering in order to harvest negative emotional energy or loosh from the masses. With the current acceleration of the electronic era, which promotes transhumanism and an array of artificial intelligence technologies, both overtly and covertly, the exploitation to extract negative emotional energy from humanity is at an all-time high. Our planet is being deluged with negative mind control programming and artificial intelligence broadcasts that target the negative ego filters that have infiltrated every fiber of society. This is in order to elicit extremely negative emotions and painful trauma from the constant bombardment of harmful images, behaviors, and actions. These programs encourage cruelty, brutality, and violence, which are being massively superimposed upon humanity and the earthly kingdoms at this time. Extremely charged negative emotional energy, such as that achieved during satanic ritual abuse, contains hormonal adrenaline cascades that course throughout the cellular energy within the human body, blood, and brain. Under such intense extremes of painful suffering, the blood and flesh becomes charged with heightened molecular content, which is highly prized by negative aliens and satanic forces. This is why they delight in the torture, suicide, and killing of human beings, especially the innocent souls unable to protect themselves like children. When we can understand how emotional energy, or loosh, is being harvested from people and living things enduring extreme pain, we can easily connect the dots. Now it makes sense as to the reasons why this extreme pain, fear, and death are mass-marketed and profited from in order to continue to increase the suffering in the world. When we have this higher knowledge, we can make a choice to do whatever we can to stop feeding into these reversals that cause fragmentation and spiritual disconnection. Fragmentation causes negative entity attachments. Additionally, when a living thing is tormented into feeling extreme pain or suffering, the mind and soul can fracture into pieces, keeping those pieces trapped in phantom pockets that are controlled by that negative entity. This can happen at multiple dimensions of existence and stations of identity that are connected with the consciousness of that spiritual energetic being. The more fragmented the being, the more disconnected and less evolved the consciousness becomes, until it sinks into the most primitive layers of existence. Fragmentation may continue after the consciousness has transitioned from the body. This is the primary goal of the negative alien agenda that attempt to enslave human consciousness by eliciting pain or terror when exiting the physical body. In satanic ritual abuse, the rape, torture, or killing of an animal or human is for the purpose of collecting the loosh produced during the blood sacrifice event, and to bind the energy with attachments, which can be fed upon by the black hole entities. They form attachments from the negative energy they consumed to the fragments that make up the consciousness of that person. Many of these negative entities consume negative emotional energy to enable their presence in the multidimensional layers of the earth field. Because of their vibrational incompatibility with human frequency levels, they must rely on the consuming of lush for their existence. The important lesson to comprehend is that expressions of negative ego and hatred, the intent to harm, and the violent killing of other living things fragments consciousness and feeds the reversals to build up negative emotional energy or lush. We do not want to co-create negative emotional energy to be fed upon by these negative entities or to directly feed the inverted systems that produce lush energy for the negative alien agenda. The most productive thing we can do is to take steps to clear negative ego and our pain body so that we will not be triggered by the mind control programs or artificial intelligence broadcasts. When we do this, we are instead capable of holding neutral and calm within the chaos. We can practice unconditional love, peace, and harmlessness. This helps to integrate and heal our fragments to unify, as well as neutralize any negative emotional energy in the environment. When we stop feeding the energy reversals, they are gradually taken offline. The feed line of the parasitized energy throughout the food chain stops, essentially starving them by denying them access to the power source. When we can hold compassionate witnessing and refuse to be triggered into negative emotional states, we are refusing to be manipulated and siphoned by the negative alien agenda. Additionally, truly empathic and unconditionally loving humans may also gain the spiritual power to recollect and transit the consciousness fragments of sacrificed children and traumatized people that are trapped in the earth realms. And this is an important service we can do to help heal the earth. Facade of inverted systems. To become better equipped to discern where we are placing our energies, it is important to attempt to identify and discern the differences that exist between the facade of promoted appearances versus the hidden motivation or intention that exists behind the facade. When a structure or person represents themselves as something they are not, we call that an imposter. When referring to the system of energy that the imposter structure is running in disguise or behind a facade, this is an inverted system or reversal of the overall system of energy. This means that the energy being collected in a system is based upon the appearance of the imposter facade, while the true motivation is actually the opposite of what has been energetically represented. This is what usurps consciousness energy through misaligned personal intention from those unaware of what they are actually engaging with. Knowing how to discern inverted systems increases our ability to make accurate assessments, which better inform our decisions. This is a skill set of paying attention to details and subtle energies in the environment, structures, and in people, in order to translate that information into an awareness of their unspoken primary motivations. When we have knowledge of the motivation behind things, we can assess if their intentions are truthful or deceptive, as well as consider their competency levels to manage a system so that it does not become inverted. This is defined as a person that is inner-directed and ethical, not prone to reactive impulses and jumping for money. Then, after accurate assessments, we can adjust accordingly to refine our decisions and personal intentions in those particular circumstances. Improved discernment comes from recognizing that the human culture has been infiltrated with a general negative alien storefront that uses inverted systems to represent their interests to the public. If a thug intends to harm or steal from you, they surely will not announce this to your face. To get away with criminal behavior, it has to be dressed up as something pleasing to the eye or seductive, to catalyze feelings of attraction, to play on their target's needs and desires. Therefore, the negative alien agenda and power elite employ genius marketing strategies in order to satisfy their objectives of deceiving the public through a parade of skillful distractions. And so, to hide their true motivations, marketing propagandas are produced to represent certain narratives that are given to the public, while in private, the hidden or harmful motivations are the complete opposite. Secrecy and hiding in layers of compartmentalization produces corruption and deception. This defines the sophisticated levels of deception and manipulation designed to invert the truth in order to distort the media images used to portray someone or something. What is represented to the public is heavily marketed and advertised, and our goal should be to see the outward sales tactic and look deeper towards the motivations behind it. What are they selling to us, and for what reasons? The death culture promotes duplicity and manipulation while rewarding psychopaths in the workplace. To remain coherent and clear, we have to see this duplicity and take firm steps to correct this behavior in ourselves. When there are motivations that are being made towards you that are deceitful, hidden, or harmful, you have every right to deflect them through accessing higher knowledge of them. Therefore, observe the facade of storefronts in inverted systems and the duplicity within other people without judging them. Use careful discernment so that you are able to sense the hidden motivations that are revealed in their actions. Most people operate from the cluttered unconscious mind and have hidden motivations and perceptions that they do not share with others directly or overtly. People have been conditioned to be duplicitous in manipulation in order to get the upper hand over other people. This is the common tactic used to gain power or control over others. How many times have you observed manipulation in sales tactics using highly unethical behavior that is rewarded and is designed to grossly take advantage of other people? But if we pay attention to people's actions and see if their words match, we will be greatly informed of their belief systems, which are revealed outwardly in their activities every day. To have a greater comprehension of the world of inverted systems that we live in, we can recognize an effective line of inquiry towards revealing the hidden truth in the matter. The demonstrated longer-term actions of a person, corporation, or structure will inform us of the belief systems in place, which define the energy within the structure. Knowing the beliefs powering up that person or entity's drives will lead to knowing the hidden perceptions they have about the environment. Their perception of others will link into their deepest hidden motivations, and this line of inquiry will give you clarity on what quality or kind of person or thing you may be dealing with. In everything and everyone, motivation is usually hidden and influences perception. Perception influences belief systems, while their beliefs will influence their actions in the external. Pay attention to a person's actions. Pay attention to a corporation or government body's overall actions, and follow the trail to the hidden motivation. It is there that their real intentions can be observed. Generally on this planet, we can follow the money and see where it leads from the destruction it wields. The imposter cannot hide themselves 100% of the time. They always reveal themselves over time. Controller system of inversion. In everyday life, inverted systems allow for the production of artificial storefronts or business facades that more effectively hide the real intentions of that industry from the public, which allows for easy dark infiltration to feed corruption, reversals, and blackmail. The imposters hire psychopaths and marketing propaganda teams to represent them, while operating from within the deep compartmental layers built upon the same inverted system of energy. Thus, they generally remain hidden from view and scrutiny, unseen and unknown by the rest of the workforce or the greater public. It is important to be able to identify the profiles of psychopathic and criminal behavior. Because psychopaths are specifically being groomed in humanity in order to act as the managerial gatekeeper in the industries that enforce the inverted systems and enforce the reversals to stay in place. Thus, the workplace psychopaths are doing their job of serving the anti-human structures that increase the overall suffering in the world. To gain a larger perspective of the working model of the global control system of energy inversion, we must first understand the concept of closed-loop entropic systems, repetitive mind control systems that turn inward or invert the overall system of energy to be directly funneled to a singular, hidden, or veiled source. The controller pillars of society are pyramidal organizations that make up our civilization's main structural systems, which are intentionally corrupted at the top in order to continue to feed the system of energy inversion, which is intrinsically required to maintain the negative alien agenda's human enslavement methods. An example to better comprehend inverted systems are the controller pillars of society that are manipulated by the negative alien agenda through sophisticated marketing propaganda to make them appear to be in service to humanity, when they actually have opposite goals. There are 5 pillars of the main structures that use anti-human control, which influence all planetary affairs as a part of the archontic deception strategy. This is carried out in sophisticated psychological warfare to promote anti-human belief systems and to get humans to enforce their own enslavement and spiritual sickness. These are the power elites or controller, the military-industrial complex, the intelligence agencies, covert groups, and government, the religious, academic, financial, and medical industries, and then the controlled media and press. By protecting corporate elites' interests through the legal loopholes that reward incompetence, fraud, bribery, and corruption, this reinforces the creation of workplace psychopaths and an unethical culture where accountability is abandoned and the consequences of criminal and negligent actions are burdens cast down to those on the lowest tiers to carry. Thus, those at the bottom of the pyramid always suffer the consequences of decisions made at the top the most. The controller system of inversion is based upon money and profit is God, while leveraging others' misery and misfortune for their benefit, hiding true motivations behind facades of disguise, corporate culture propaganda, militarized design of pay grade compartmentalization, blind spots unable to see the whole system, no accountability to the consequences of decisions, forcing impossible profit margins or quotas, plunder and pillage of human and earthly resources with no empathy, producing workplace psychopaths and rewarding them via promotions and extravagance, punishing people smarter than you to dumb down, forcing them to play the victim-victimizer slave game, intimidation and fear on job security, or unethical behaviors that guarantee a paycheck, following orders without questioning, such as, I do my job, whether it's ethical, humane, or not, bloated waste and mismanagement of resources, gross inequality of pay, rewarding negative behaviors like bullying as desirable traits to get ahead, seeing people as objects to make money from, rather than human beings. To invert a system is to turn it inside out or upside down, to reverse its original position by separating its functioning into smaller divided parts that are manipulated so their product or earnings will not be distributed in proportion to enhance the whole. It means that even though the whole system of energy is the cause of the entire production or yield of resources that supply the available energy, none of those resources of energy are returned in fair value exchange to the actual individual producers of that energy resource. Instead, the entire production of the system of energy is purposely inverted, and this funnels the results of productivity and growth to serve a small and limited tier of elite people that exist at the top of the chain of that system, or pyramidal corporation. This is how all time, energy, and resources that would translate into producing wealth for the majority of the working class people on this earth are actually stolen from them legally. Therefore, their entire life effort is reduced to survival, which further translates into slave labor and oppression. Thus, the state of well-being and quality of life for the majority of people on Earth is deplorable, while the power elite hoard unimaginable wealth that they could never even spend. This is carried out in the design of siphoning energy, which is consumptive modeling. Consumptive modeling is the taking, stealing, superimposing, or using of another's energetic resources or life force for one's personal use or personal gain, which is enforced by the false king of tyranny archetypes or false gods. Usually this process is the taking or stealing of other people's energetic resources, which are hidden within complex deceptions, lies, and manipulation carried out through a sophisticated, militarized design that is layered with compartmentalization and mind control. Inverted systems are the core structural program of the negative alien agenda to enslave planet Earth and humanity through the stealing of energy and self-ownership made through the workplace psychopath corporatocracy model, which is based on the same closed-loop system of energy inversion. Let's look deeper at the impact the current corporate culture has made in promoting consumptive modeling and inverted systems throughout our society, while shaping and rewarding psychopathic behaviors in humanity. If corporations are people, they are psychopaths. Corporate personhood is the legal concept that a corporation, separate from its associated human employees, has some of the legal rights and responsibilities given to physical humans. U.S. courts have extended certain constitutional protections to corporations. Since the Supreme Court has ruled that corporations are people, real people should recognize the deadly impact of granting the equivalent of sociopathic behemoths to take control over the world governments. This is a good example of using the legal system to produce international corporate conglomerates that act as the facade that hides the controller system of energy inversion. Since the general corporate culture promotes and rewards psychopathy, it attracts workplace psychopaths who tend to be corporate climbers for more status, money, and power. Psychopaths are usually most common in the higher levels of corporate organizations, and their actions often cause a ripple effect throughout an organization, setting the tone for an entire corporate culture. Workplace psychopaths maintain multiple personas throughout the office, presenting each colleague or competitor with a different version of themselves. This is also defining splitting behaviors or dissociative identities. Corporations have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders to make profits, to put their economic and profit interests above any humanitarian, ethical, or moral consideration. It is common sense that a democracy or civilization that is intended to serve the people cannot be built upon the premise that money takes precedent over the governance of all human affairs. In the movie The Corporation, they use the personality diagnostic checklist DSM-4 to test corporations for pathological symptoms. Callous disregard for the feelings of others, check. Incapacity to maintain enduring relationships, check. reckless disregard for the safety of others. Check. Deceitfulness, the repeated lying and conniving of others for profit. Check. Incapacity to experience guilt or remorse. Check. Failure to conform to social norms with respect to lawful behaviors. Check. Therefore, if corporations are people, then they are serial-killing psychopaths who should never be granted the right to gain power or govern and control the people. The massive conglomerate of multinational corporations are set up to behave as predators, plundering the people through the closed-loop systems of energy inversion, which hide the real predator objectives of global human enslavement by the negative alien agenda. Workplace psychopaths. Many of these people are conditioned in the workplace by being rewarded for psychopathic behavior, which instills extremely negative behaviors that spill over into their personal life and relationships. Characteristics of workplace psychopaths are patterns that reveal themselves in many third-dimensional people in the environment that have been subjected to repetitive conditioning in businesses, organizations, communities, or other group systems of energy. Being able to quickly identify psychopathic behaviors is helpful in assessing and recognizing deeply traumatized people that should not have access or control over any aspect of management, especially in an ethical and empathic, humanitarian-based organization. To stop psychopathic infiltration, we have to recognize the behaviors and refuse to promote, glorify, or propagate them in our communities, organizations, and businesses. These are public humiliation of others, a high propensity for having temper tantrums or ridiculing work performance, malicious spreading of lies, intentionally deceitful, remorseless or devoid of guilt, frequently lies to push his or her point, rapidly shifts between emotions used to manipulate people or cause high anxiety, intentionally isolates persons from organizational resources, quick to blame others for mistakes or for incomplete work even though he or she is guilty, encourages coworkers to torment, alienate, harass, and or humiliate other peers, takes credit for other people's accomplishments, steals and or sabotages other persons' works, refuses to take responsibility for misjudgments or errors, threatens any perceived enemy with job loss or discipline in order to taint employee file, sets unrealistic and unachievable job expectations to set employees up for failure, refuses or is reluctant to attend meetings with more than one person, refuses to provide adequate training and or instructions to singled out victim, invades personal privacy of others, has multiple sexual encounters with junior or senior employees, develops new ideas without real follow-through, very self-centered and extremely egotistical. Often the conversation revolves around them, a great deal of self-importance, often borrows money and or material objects without any intentions of giving it back, will do whatever it takes to close the deal with no regards for ethics or legality. It is important to be able to identify abusers, liars, predators, and psychopaths as people traumatized by terrible pain, soul fragmentation, and spiritual disconnection. These character profiles generally have a severe lack of empathy. Why would we trust resources or give value to the words spoken by anyone or anything who is a repeated abuser, liar, or predator? We have to understand they are very sick, in pain, and deeply disturbed. They are not fit to be leaders, near children, managing human affairs, or making decisions that impact the world. We must lovingly demand higher standards of ethical and humanitarian behavior for ourselves in all of our projects and for our communities. We start by being the example of these higher ethical and humanitarian behaviors in our day-to-day life. We begin to build new creations and structures that are based on these higher ethical qualities of consciousness, energy, and intention. Attack on accessing knowledge and open source systems. At this time, during the intensified conflict for control over human consciousness, there are massive psychological operations being carried out to wrangle and censor certain subjects of information, keywords, or unapproved topics that are blocked from access by the masses. The controller agenda is to gain complete control over any kind of structure, organization, or media that allows the public to access knowledge and truthful events freely, or information that exists independently outside of the mainstream narrative. The strength of inverted systems are dependent on human ignorance, and by shutting down access to knowledge and open source systems, thereby keeping the masses dumbed down and redirecting their consciousness energy to fear-based distractions and mindless entertainment. The larger conglomerates in the corporatocracy model that produce and reward workplace psychopaths are used to infiltrate any open source or free energy system that is perceived as a threat, so that it is replaced with a system inversion model. Generally, the infiltration occurs through a hefty paycheck, which is the bribery used to convert that organization into another inverted system of energy that is based on the controller objectives. As we comprehend how inverted systems are used to continue to harvest loosh and enslave the consciousness of humanity, it becomes clear that open source, free energy exchange, and independent systems that encourage open minds and hearts are a threat to the continued existence of reversal networks that harbor criminal negligence, usurping of personal intent. Now that we better understand how reversals and inverted systems are being used to usurp consciousness energy to generate loosh that feeds into the negative alien psychopathic systems, how does feeding into these reversals impact the power of our personal intentions? Inverted systems feed upon human co-creative consciousness by purposely tricking people out of their personal intent and consent. Being psychopathic systems, they deceive, and lie to trick people to believe their intentions are humanitarian or positive, therefore manipulating good-hearted people to align their intentions with organizations, leaders, or celebrities that actually serve to produce more loosh. A good example is the larger charitable organizations that are run by the boards of the power elite families. Many charitable organizations are storefronts for hiding criminal behavior in other countries, such as human trafficking, sex slavery, bribery, and money laundering. The propaganda marketing team shows media images of refugee children in need, while the good-hearted people send in their cash donations. In their minds, the money is going to that child in need, yet that is not where the funds are being delivered. What happens to the time, energy, and love that good-hearted human intended to send to help the starving child? It's been co-opted to support criminal enterprises. This is an example of an organization using a model for inverted energy systems that is designed to usurp personal intent. The energetic result of this exchange is the good-hearted intention of that human being is hijacked to continually feed the negative alien agenda structures without realizing that is what is happening. When feeding into criminal networks, there is an impact to all of humanity because we become complicit with the dark forces that are committing those criminal acts. This is how humanity's co-creative consciousness is being hijacked. They are told positive narratives on the surface for appearances, when the ugly truth behind the facade is that organization is harboring the hidden activity for a den of psychopathic criminals. If we are unable to discern the manipulation and the quality of energy that is the real intention behind the controller structures, or we continually ignore blatant negativity and harm perpetrated by leaders, we can be manipulated to feed into these inverted systems through our own misdirected consciousness energy and misplaced intentions. Let us drill this down further to better understand how inverted systems or reversal systems can hijack the quality of our intentions when they go unrecognized and unidentified around us. Becoming aware of how inverted systems work in order to hijack human consciousness energy greatly improves our accurate assessment of this reality and also greatly increases the frequency of truth that exists in our intention. Quality of intention. When we direct our consciousness energy onto a singular focus or goal, this event produces a powerful and significant force known as intention. When we place attention on cultivating our connection with higher consciousness in order to develop deeper clarity of our truthful intentions, this act towards self-realization conducts the transformation of our energies into the manifestation of whatever we have intended. Concentrating our attention with a specific purpose or intention directs consciousness energy towards its manifestation, which causes this area of concentrated attention to continue to grow and expand in our lives. Simply put, where we place our attention is what directs our consciousness energy, while where we place our intention is what transforms that energy. This is the power of human co-creative consciousness, and every human being has this ability. Gaining this self-knowledge is the starting point of developing the proper perspective, which allows us to make progress towards evolving and transforming ourselves into our higher expression potentials. This is the foundation required for making powerful changes in our lives that serve to stabilize long-term personal development and spiritual growth. Let's explore the different potentials that are possible in our manifestations by first studying the links that connect the frequency of consciousness energy we access, combined with the quality of our intention. Consciousness energy and intention are not the same function in manifestation, but are interconnected and entwined with the fundamental mechanics of creation. First, all consciousness is energy, and all energy is conscious. Thus, they are both interchangeable. Yet the quality of consciousness energy is not all the same or undifferentiated. It can be considered very similarly as the raw material that is chosen to create something into matter form. So remembering that all consciousness energy is intelligent, but has different qualities of intelligence that will need to be checked for resonance. Do we choose to co-create our consciousness with egoic intentions or higher self intentions? The higher the quality of the raw material and the higher the frequency of intention that one has to co-create with, results in a much higher quality of manifestation. We are unable to manifest higher frequency structures until we can direct our attention upon higher consciousness energy and intentions, while holding the singular focus that increases energy to vitalize and grow those same structures. This requires the spirit of diligence so that we never give up our singular focus to serve the longer-term goal. The singular focus is described as the personal spiritual mission of each person and the higher purpose they are to fulfill while on the earth at this time during the ascension cycle. Yet, we must temper this knowledge of the functions of consciousness energy with the current conditions of inverted energy systems that we are exposed to on Earth, that are propagated by the psychopathic systems that carry out the enslavement agenda of the negative aliens. This necessitates that we develop a stronger mental and emotional body that is capable of holding a singular focus, observer point, and control over our impulses, or the power of our intention will be inverted into these reversal systems created by these negative forces. We must discern the quality of forces and recognize inverted or reversal systems so that we can gain clarity over the consciousness energy that we direct with our intention. Raw material of consciousness energy. Consciousness energy exists in multiple scales with unique qualities and intelligence factors, electromagnetic tonal sounds, and colors that impact how that consciousness energy will form into matter. The consciousness energy is comprised of distinct vibratory patterns that determines the frequency rate and how that frequency is translated into blueprints of manifestation. The quality of consciousness energy accessed is also informed by the frequency generated by the real intentions of the Creator. And this also determines the higher quality or lower quality result of the energy manifestation. Everything in our universe consists of these multiple layers of vibrational frequency, which constitute the multiple scales of consciousness energy in existence, and can be compared to as the available raw materials of the Creator. It happens to be that the available raw materials are shifting in their scale during the bifurcation, and this allows for improvements in the quality of manifesting in the future. Thus, this raw material of consciousness energy is available on many scales of dimensional frequency that exist throughout time. And in the higher scales, the consciousness energy goes beyond the scale of dimensionalization and into no time. As we move up the consciousness scale, we access higher and more refined levels of consciousness energy, or the higher intelligence stations of our more refined vibrating aspects. As we move up the scale of consciousness energy, our intelligence is heightened, while our awareness enlightens, and as a result, this greatly transforms the power and quality of our intentions made into manifestation. So when we think of our soul, our monad oversoul, and avatar Christ body, these are the higher aspects of our consciousness energetic identity. This is where understanding the cosmology of dimensions is helpful in determining the quality of consciousness energy that is being used in creation or being directed at us. We can more easily observe when the negative alien agenda is sucking energy from the lower levels of consciousness energy, such as manipulating sexual energies from out of the pain body, or sudden impulses that make us feel pain and emotionally trigger us into acting out some unhealthy or destructive action against ourselves or others. These are the common results of manipulating lower levels of consciousness energy through mind control broadcasts. When we observe the current terrain of the global scape and collective consciousness stream, where do you feel these manifestations are sourcing from? Where are they being created? Do you intend to co-create with that same quality of energy? What happens when you do? To increase the frequency and quality of consciousness energy and intention that are made into manifestation, the single most important thing we must do is remove the ego personality and outer forces from exerting their control over our personal consciousness energies or intention. Consciousness energy is generated wherever we place our focus and attention, and the quality of frequency will be gathered in the system of energy with which our intention vibrates. If we match the vibration of the collective consciousness in the organizations that we can observe in the 3D world currently, we are co-creating more of the same, lower quality, negative ego consciousness. Thus, it is imperative we are able to discern the differences in qualities of energy, qualities of intention, and to consider placing energetic assessments on the organizations or things that we are involved with. Don't give your time, energy, money, and trust to just anyone, especially those people that demonstrate unethical behavior, irresponsibility, and selfish motivations. This better equips us to be able to recognize how we can responsibly co-create with the qualities inherent in the higher consciousness forces. We cannot manifest higher consciousness creations until we can discern the accurate conditions of the negative alien mind control culture in which we find ourselves on Earth. We must recognize these inverted systems operating around us as the beginning step. Raw guardians. In conclusion, this is an extremely volatile year which defines the many conflicts raging in the interdimensional planes over controlling timelines, recovering stolen creation code, and mass psychological operations being carried out against the public to maintain inverted systems programmed in artificial intelligence. The Crystal Star Guardians have returned during this cycle to reclaim their creation code that was hijacked in the Phantom and assimilated into the negative alien artificial intelligence systems. Effectively, the family of Ra has become more visible this year while organizing this project to help recover the Law of One records that were assimilated into the artificial intelligence systems, which the black hole entities use to holographically project the upside-down world of inverted systems that we have come to know on the third-dimensional Earth. The blue avians are extensions of the family of Ra and have been in contact with many of their human lineages on the Earth since Egyptian times to help catalyze this revelation of truth. Hence, they also have allowed themselves to become more visible to the alternative and truth-seeking movement recently. The inversion of the Law of One creation code was given by the negative alien groups to power up these reversal networks and inverted systems. This is the foundation our current civilization is based upon, and it is what the secret societies and usurped mystery schools are based upon. Further, these inverted systems were built upon the reversals to hide the mass harvesting of human loosh for the negative entities. With the acceleration of conflict, there is an all-out push this year to usurp more consent, to bind more souls, to maintain the inverted system feed lines that allow energy to be siphoned. As the negative alien agenda is losing some ground, their factions and minions are infighting and becoming more desperate. The false facades hiding inverted systems are beginning to crack, revealing the truth of what is behind them. Simultaneously, awakening humans aligned to cosmic sovereign law are increasingly able to create blueprints and structures aligning with the crystal spiral flows of unity intelligence. These can be difficult and challenging times, but as the truth surfaces and we are willing to really see who is who and how we got here, the truth can set us free. Please only take what is useful for your spiritual growth and discard all the rest. Thank you for your courage and bravery to be a truth seeker. Until next, stay in the luminosity of your avatar Christos Sophia heart path. Please be kind to yourself and to each other with a loving heart. Until next month.